Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com with a major cocaine hippo. Riccardo, Minasi, and Ensemble Resonanz doing Mozart. Well, they've been doing a bunch of Mozart. We're going to cover all the Mozart. Oh, gosh, this is just horrible. This is really horrible. I love the gramophone review here. They have a quotation. Minasi and his expert 35-strong band, Modern Instruments, period, ethos. Bullshit. Play up the music's disruptive aspects for all they're worth. That is true. With lean, vibrato light strings, actually the strings sound lovely, and assertive wind and brass, no kidding, tutti textures have an abrasive clarity. Well, abrasive, yes. Clarity, not so much. Here's the bottom line. Why is this a cocaine hippo? Because it is, as with Pablo Escobar and his hippopotami and his zoo in Colombia, which was, of course, allowed to run loose after he was shot, and the hippos bred like crazy. Well, here we have breeding hippos. They're just doing things because they can, not because they should. This is the most mannered, micromanaged, affected. To work so hard for such an atrocious result. Really, it's kind of admirable in its way. It's the worst thing since Harnoncourt in Mozart with the Concertgebouw. Remember how bizarre those performances were? They just go to show he could make a big modern symphony orchestra sound like a desiccated, crappy period instrument band. Well, they're already desiccated and crappy, so they don't have to, he doesn't have to do anything to them like Harnoncourt did to the Concertgebouw, but it's full of the same collection of anti-musical mannerisms that have nothing whatsoever to do with Mozart, because you got to remember something. Beyond all of the period ethos, what period ethos are they talking about? Seriously, if you want period ethos, you get a bunch of people who've never played Mozart before, give them maybe one rehearsal and let them play Mozart. That was the period ethos, without a conductor. Here, what we have is a guy who wants to impose his will on every single note for no musical reason. It's almost intolerable listening to this music, the way that they perform this stuff. I'll give you an example. In the Linz Symphony, that wonderful second subject, dum bum ba da da dum ba 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 dum ba 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 dum. Then the winds come in, dum bum 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 bum. That gorgeously tuned wind chord, it's absolutely beautiful. So what do we have here? It's first of all, you've got, the whole orchestra going nuts. Whenever there's a forte, it's triple forte. Whenever there's a piano, it's double piano, triple piano. It's exaggerated. The music doesn't benefit from that kind of extreme approach. It really doesn't, because Mozart doesn't ask for it. He just doesn't. But they go dum bum ba da da dum ba 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 da ba 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 dum, Luftpause, and then the brass comes in. What the hell is that? Every single phrase has its own tempo, its own different articulation. Nothing coheres. There are no long singing lines, although the slow movements aren't so terrible compared to the fast ones. But the fast ones, oh my God. The finale of the same symphony, when the loud outbursts come, right? Dum, ba-da-da-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-da-da-bum. Pause. Then phrases have no endings. Phrases, they don't get completed. They're not attached to what's going to come afterwards. There are no large musical paragraphs here. It's just noise. And when the trumpets and drums come in with the horns, usually, they just explode every single time. And it's okay. It's exciting the first time. The 20th time, it's just irritating. And they cover everybody else. There's no clarity. You don't hear any strings. You don't hear any woodwinds. You just hear bah! this blatty noise and this very ample acoustic. They're just pounding away. It's really vulgar and anti-musical. I mean, in the Paris Symphony, the quick parts, it's the quick movements that are so bad. The slow movements, they take care of themselves more or less, but the fast stuff, my God, there's just scraping and scratching and rushing and the garbled articulation and phrasing and it's just gross. Really, really gross. It's shockingly bad. And, and like I said, the one thing that they did not have in Mozart's day was a conductor. They didn't have people like Minasi who are going to grab a bunch of people, train them within an inch of their lives to do all kinds of stupid things that have nothing whatsoever to do with what Mozart wrote or what Mozart intended. I mean, to the extent we know, right? We have a pretty good idea of what he did and what he wanted. And it cannot be that this is a reasonable facsimile thereof. It just can't be. It's so unmusical. I'm shocked because, I like Minasi. He did that marvelous recording of Haydn's Seven Last Words, and I was all for it. But this is just, why? What is the point? What are they doing? And it's been done before. I mean, the noise and blast Mozart thing has been done. It really has. We've heard it. We heard it from Harnoncourt. We heard it from a bunch of other people, period instrument people who do this stuff all the time now. Everything is just either loud and crude or soft and whiny and uninteresting. And, the tempos are ridiculous. The interpretations are minute by minute. There's no overall conception. There's no flow. There's no cantabile. I mean, it's just yeah. Keep on listening, friends. Thanks for joining me. Take care.